This past week Bill Nye the Science Guy was on CNN's Crossfire to debate the scare tactics of scientists on anthropogenic, human-caused climate change. I unfortunately was not able to watch it on CNN and only have access to the short clips CNN has posted, one on those bullying tactics and the other on whether people need to quit eating meat. I did find out about this through a Facebook posting and have since then read up on summaries of the debate. Close quote. To start off with, I wouldn't really call this a debate, but more of who could yell the loudest over Bill Nye. It is unfortunate that I cannot view the whole thing in its entirety to see what else I am missing, but people are only commenting mainly on the first segment and a little on the second one, 5 minutes worth of debate. From what I saw, it wasn't much of a debate or discussion. It was more about Bill Nye needing to defend those bullying scientists with their alarmist agenda. Disarming the weapon of doubt. Several things are unsettling to me, and I would hope everyone else who has seen it feel the same way. The main point being, in this day and age, why are we debating this? I mean, this is a pretty well established, and albeit new theory. Why do people still focus on the 3% of scientists who disagree with this theory? Do people forget that we can always find those that disagree with any given theory? If we are really giving credit to those minority of heretic scientists, then what about those that disagree with germ theory, nuclear theory, DNA as the hereditary material, heliocentric model, etc.? Let's step back and re-evaluate how we should regard scientific theories. In general, if we have a decent working theory, we keep going with it and do our best to disprove it. Yes, to disprove, to rule out or minimize confirmation bias. What we don't do is say, "Who loops, one little aspect out of a 1000 or so doesn't make sense. Therefore, let's drop the whole theory and wait until something else comes along." If you want to drop a theory, you need to have something else to replace it, and that be better. If it isn't better, then why replace it? I admit climate science can be a difficult topic to understand and to research. I struggled for a bit to understand what exactly was going on with global climate change a few years back, when I was tasked with giving a lecture on it at San Diego State University a few years back. Being a true skeptic, I was a bit dubious of the claim, but could be convinced if the data was concrete. In the end, when I looked at and assessed the science, I felt pretty safe in accepting the theory. So unless something better comes along, I will be inclined to accept it, as most people should. There needs to be inequality. Cornelia Dean's 2009 book Am I Making Myself Clear helped to clarify why the debate is so contested. She brings up the fair and balanced ideal in journalism. In other words, there are two sides to every story. Sure, in the matter of public opinion, civil rights, policy, politics, etc., that is true. In science, however, that is most definitely not the case, but journalists, typically being not very scientifically literate, don't know that is the case. Paraphrasing her explanation. To put it in a different context, as to why equal time for both sides can be so ridiculous, here is an equivalent analogy. Imagine having a prime-time debate, covered by all media outlets, between someone having to defend the idea that Old Glory / the Stars and Stripes is the flag of the United States, and another person who represents 3% of the population, that say the green, white, and red with a Tenochtitlan coat of arms is, most would recognize it as the flag of Mexico. I would hope most people would find that so much coverage between two sides of an unequal factual story would be absolutely mind-boggling. Unfortunately, that is what is happening now. Forcing politics and policy into science. In reality, the real issue is not the science, but what to do to try and remedy this situation, and as usual certain groups only see absolute solutions. The free market or government regulation will save the day. Is this the movie Highlander, where only one can survive? So those that value the ideal of the free market being the only solution have put all their effort in denying the science, rather than presenting the best free market solutions compared to government regulations. See Heritage Foundation, Heartland Institute, etc. Right geneticist, not the cosmologist, Sean Carroll sums it up nicely in describing the denialist strategy. Doubt, directed at the actual science related to the issue. Doubt, directed at the personal motives and integrity of scientists. In this case, it's not the data that is dubious, as it is an argument number one, it's the people behind the data. Magnified disagreements among scientists, often credentialed but non-expert people holding a minority opinion, fuel unfounded debate. Exaggeration of potential harm of the science in question, this is an unreasonable perception of the risk involved. Personal freedom, an issue that is framed as an infringement on personal freedom, e.g. a child should have the choice of whether or not to learn about evolution. Acceptance of the science in question would repudiate a key philosophical belief. Check, 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 and check. What now? What should be debated are the optimal strategies in combating this human ecological plague and doing something about it ASAP. This is a big issue because it will affect seriously resources, financial, industrial, and natural. Affect resources, you get strife, mass migrations, etc. Who will handle this? Talk about expensive, life, monetary. Seriously, let's quit the debating of the science, leave it to the sci.